Hello, welcome to Grafenberg TV. Thank you for tuning in to this live stream, this episode of the Weekly Report. Excited to see, once again, 20 minutes worth of news in an hour. Always super fun what the folks from the report bring. So super happy to see episode 4, I think this is of this show. So before we get to that, let's just cut to a couple announcements. There's a bunch of places you can stream us. Hit us up on Facebook Live, Twitch, and YouTube, all at Grafenberg TV. Fun fact about Twitch and YouTube is you can use those on a lot of your TVs, smart TVs and Apple TVs and shit like that. So you can actually stream us without having to be on your phone the whole time, which is obnoxious. You can also support us with your money. And please do. At Venmo, Patreon, and GoFundMe, all at Grafenberg TV. And you can also buy Grafenberg swag at grafenberg.threadless.com. Same old basic announcements. I'm CJ Willard. I don't know if I gave you my name. Honestly, it doesn't fucking matter. So let's, without further ado, send it over to the folks from the RIP with the Weekly Reports. Yay!
All right. Thank you, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 357th episode of the Weekly Report. 20 minutes of news in 1 hour. I, for one, can't wait to be back for yet another week in the infinity of weeks that is this great quarantine.
And I'll tell you, finding content to talk about hasn't been easier.
No, it's so great. I feel like so many new things are happening in my life that I'm just flowing with new inspiration every day. I have so many current events happening.
Oh,
I could go on just myself for at least an hour right now.
My goodness. Well, if only this were just about you. But this is about our crew, our team. We have a lot to talk to you about today. So as usual, we'll get it started with the very first topic, which is the weather. Meteorologist Jordan Eric kicking it off. What's going on outside our doors?
Thanks, Margie. Well, there's a lot of weather going on, and there's a lot of weather that's going to be happening here in the very near future. So I'm sure everybody wants to know, what is it that we should be expecting with the weather?
Yeah.
We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with that full weather report right after this message.
When my 2:30 rolls around, I need something with a little more kick to get me through my day. That's why I turn to 5-Second Energy.
5-Second Energy gives me that instant boost I need to make it through the immediate task I'm currently working on. Plus, 5-Second Energy lets me down nice and easy.
Besides, 5-Second Energy has a year's supply of beta-carotene and yellow 5, all in one convenient shot. Hell, I practically live off of it.
5-Second Energy. Hours of energy right now.
All right, we are back. And we're going to kick things off now by sending it over to Mark to take a look outside at traffic. Mark, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. I ran out of my antipsychotics this week, and the voices in my head told me not to re-up the prescription, so we're just going to ride this thing out and see what happens. It could get weird, but it's not going to be as lonely as it has been for the last couple of weeks. So let's take a look at that traffic report. I happen to live on one street that I have a view of, and so let's go to the eye in the sky. It looks like this week there's one blue PT Cruiser driving along. One blue PT Cruiser, and I'm coming across on northbound traffic looks like a black Honda CRV. That black Honda CRV looked to have only one person inside of it, so I can guarantee you that currently there are at least 2 people driving on North Nevada Avenue right now. If you're going to get out there, make sure to buckle up. You could be in for a bit of a traffic jam.
Fantastic. Thanks again, as always, Mark. Mark, if I could make one comment on your weirdness. I noticed there was something different about your appearance that I'd like to just address, if I might. And it has to do with the fact that you now have facial hair.
Caleb, thank you for bringing it up. I, like many other men and several women, have decided to just let the hair go. Let it grow. Let it grow. Don't cut it back anymore.
Well,
I
and
mean,
while
really
I
what
do
you-
applaud that, I think that my biggest surprise is that currently we didn't think you were capable.
Caleb, what you have to understand is that I barely am. Most of this is Crayola marker that I've used to emphasize most of the scribbly little prepubescent facial hair that I am capable of growing. Now, while I do have a bit of a thing going on right here, all of this, totally Crayola. I'd also like to give a big shout out to Crayola for sponsoring this segment called When You Can't Grow a Quarantine Beard, but You Still Want to Look Old. Thanks, Crayola.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much,
Fantastic.
Mark. Entertaining content about your face as always.
Speaking of entertainment, our resident culture expert, Jordan Eric, has some cultural commentary. Jordan, what do you have to say about our culture today?
Thanks, Margarita. First of all, I'd like to say that my internet connection sucks. So, if you're like me, you've been stuck at home for quite a while and you've probably had a lot of extra time on your hands. So, what are some of the things that you've wanted to do? Well, if you're like me, you've always wanted to take a shot at writing the great American romance novel. And if you're also like me, you've recently been told that you have some slight tendencies of obsessive compulsive behaviors. So I figured, why not combine the two into a new genre of reading called OC? I would like to read a few samples that I've been working on.
Oh, goody.
I can't wait.
Wow, Jordan. This sounds like it's going to be exciting.
Oh, it will. It'll be something, anyways. In the dimly lit room, Eileen stood over Adam, completely naked except for her clothes. He watched her utterly impassive, noting that this was not the same girl that he grew up with. Slowly, she undressed, her bra, her pants, piece by piece. She took off her clothing and folded them neatly into two separate piles with dark and lights, being careful not to mix clothes that she was going to bleach later on. She made her way down his neck and softly kissed each muscle on his bulging chest, making sure to wipe them with a sanitary towel immediately afterwards. Adam handcuffed Eileen to the bedpost and went over to light the candles, ensuring that they were a minimum 3 inches apart and away from any walls before checking the handcuffs a second time to make sure that they were absolutely secure. The moment of pleasure consumed Adam as he held his pulsating toothbrush in his hand, having brushed every area of his mouth for exactly 30 seconds. He walked over to Eileen, squirted a bit of massage oil onto his hands, and gently started rubbing her on the shoulders. "That's nice," she said. "Yes," he agreed. "And it will kill 99.9% of all the bacteria on your skin."
Wow.
Wow.
That's it for my yet untitled OCDEF piece. Back to
Wow.
you guys.
Wow, Jordan. I knew you were a skilled man, but I had no idea how skilled until right now.
Jordan, I don't know that was appropriate for the news. I have feelings.
Well, I will say that you have set the bar and it exists at some level.
Mark.
Yeah.
Let's talk about something else, okay?
Oh, got it. Great call. I don't have to do the traffic right now because standing up is not what the news wants from me right now. Instead,
I hear that you created a presentation.
Oh, yes, absolutely. But I really feel like this would be better suited for you to deliver, Margarita. So while you've
okay.
never seen this presentation before, I think that it's time for us to welcome today's speaker, you.
Well, I am just tickled pink to be here today. I am here to talk to you about self-help, as it were. So let's think about self-help. Self-help. Help yourself.
Oh, that's good.
Next slide. Next. So it is indeed time to talk about being a badass. You see, as we are here in these unprecedented times, we find ourselves sitting a lot more often. Therefore, our asses have become more prominent in our lives, perhaps than ever before. asses, which we're like Rosie the Riveter here. We can do it just like Rosie the Riveter here. Can we sit on our asses? Yes, we can. Can they be bad? Yes, they can. Next. Asses can also flex. Those are the things that these two pictures have in common. Next. And as you can see, asses contain muscles just like the biceps, except they are the gluteal muscles. You see, when practicing how to sit on one's ass, one must think, which muscles am I engaging? Is it the biceps? No, but can I flex my biceps while sitting on my bad ass? You betcha. Next. So, who is this for?
Ooh, I have a question.
Oh, yes.
Who is this for?
Great question. Who is this for? This is for you, and it's for me. And you know what? It's for our asses. Our asses, for up to this point, have been completely ignored. Next. And that's what you should say to everyone that you're talking to. Is this for you? No, it's for me. And if enough people say it, everyone will say it. And then everyone will know it. Next. Oh, I'm sorry. There's a question.
But I just wanted to know if it's for me, but somebody else wanted some, would it be okay to share?
No, but you could ask, who is this for? And then they would say me, and then therefore they have it.
Perfect. Perfect sense.
Next. Consider the frog. Next. Consider the dog. Or is it a dog? Or is it a puppet? Or is it my nightmare? Exactly. What would your badass say? Next. Yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
Why does the dog have my eyes and your teeth?
Caleb, I was hoping you wouldn't notice that. The original photo of the dog had no eyes and one tooth. I couldn't find dog eyes and dog teeth that would satisfy what I wanted, so I stole a picture of your eyes and my teeth to put on the dog.
Ah, thank God. I thought it was our kid.
The common thread is that neither of these animals sit on their asses as much as we do nowadays. Next. This is a picture of our child.
Yeah, no, this one I get.
Yeah, this is when we were on vacation in the Amazon. He was so happy then. I just put this in here because I wanted to brag about my child. Next. Our child climbing trees.
Little baby badass.
Little baby badass. Next. B is for bottom of the pile. Next. A is for all in the pile. Next. D is for downward angle of the pile. Next. A is for, hey, let's slap hands in a pile after this is over. Next. S is for, so you want to be a Nazi? Nuh-uh, because that's not what a badass does. Next. I think I've made my point. So everyone, let's think globally. Let's think about how our asses can be bad asses. Next. 12% of the world depends on work. Work needs asses to be strong. Next. 18% of the world depends on life. Common thread, just like my child in the tree. Needs an ass. That's a badass. Next. 65% of the world depends on balance. But as you can tell, 65% is an imbalance. For if you had 65% of the world do anything at the same time, the world would tip over. So that's why it's important to tone our badasses so that they don't take up too much energy. Next. 5% of the world depends on confidence because the other parts of the world already have it. That 5% are already badasses. Next. Red and blue make purple. Next. Confit. Without the T, it's not the French word I'm thinking of. Next. Dense. And what happens next when you put together confit or dense or don't? It's a badass. Next. So remember, you can do it. Flex that bicep. Next. Don't be a fucking Nazi. Next. Always take those punches like you mean it, because that's badass, like Conor McGregor. Next. Don't kiss women you don't know. This picture looks romantic, but they didn't fucking know each other. Next. Ain't that guy cute? That's my ambassador of badassery right there. Next. Again, my child in the trees of the Amazon. Next. Thank you very much. That's how to help yourself.
Wow,
I'm gonna
Margarita.
make this my signature pose from now on.
That's a
From
good
now on
pose.
and always before.
Always and ever.
Wow, Margarita. That was fantastic.
Thank you.
Some
I
might say
don't.
that was badass.
Oh, well, I hope that they would. I just hope that my inclusion of Nazis was helpful to everyone.
Well, I think that was the appropriate level of Nazism.
Yeah, just a dash.
You
Hey,
know,
Jordan, how's
Nazi-
the weather?
Hey, thanks, Margarita. There is a lot of weather happening now. There's clear skies somewhere, there's cloudy skies somewhere, there's rain somewhere, and you probably are itching to know, where are all these weather events happening? Well, we'll tell you right after the break. Come right back.
Whoops. Oh no! Who's gonna clean up that mess?
Are you tired of tough messes to clean up? Well, I'm here to tell you about a great new product that makes cleanup a snap. It's called a goddamn paper towel.
Spilled some wine.
Get a goddamn paper towel.
Spaghetti sauce on the stove?
Get a goddamn paper towel.
Triceratops take a dump on your Honda Civic.
Get a goddamn paper towel.
Look at this mess! Who can tackle this catastrophe? A wet washcloth?
No way.
A Swift what?
No way. Just grab a goddamn paper towel, use a little goddamn kitchen cleaner, and throw it all away in the goddamn trash can. What would you expect to pay for something like this? $1,498? No way. $287.36? Not a chance. Act now, and you can get this amazing new product for much, much less. Where can I buy this amazing revolutionary technology? Any goddamn grocery store on the planet.
Purchase your goddamn paper towels alongside these other fine goddamn products at any goddamn grocery store nationwide.
Well, it's time for my favorite view and yours, and that's Mark looking out his view. It's time for the traffic.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's go look at some traffic. Oh, it looks like today we actually have 3 windows to look out of. And man, I have never been more excited because it looks like there are still 0 cars, ladies and gentlemen.
Now, I can take a closer look here, but it appears that no matter how much I look out any of these three windows, it looks like there's still absolutely no traffic, ladies and gentlemen. So while you may be alone at home, understand that even if you go outside, you'll still be alone out there. And frankly, what better time to be alone, to really just embrace who you are, who you've always wanted to be, who those damn pills were stopping you from being, all of the different ideas and beautiful thoughts that they put into your head, like what a beautiful thing you can be in this world. So no matter how alone or how cramped with people that you love or hate you are, just realize that now's the time to let yourself be all of yourselves.
Wow. Traffic and inspiration. Thank you so much, Mark.
I'm doing my part.
Well, speaking of parts, good luck topping that one, but I think we can with our favorite and yours, meteorologist Jordan Eric, presenting another Song of the Week.
Hey, thanks, guys. This one, as Mark was just saying, it's about being home and being on your own. And this one is an ode to being home. My job can cause me to be stressed, maybe even a bit depressed. I often get the feeling that I'm confined. But today I'm working from my home. And since I'm sitting here alone, there is only one thing on my mind. Is it too early to start drinking? I need something to help this day end soon. I know it's 12:01 p.m., so technically that makes it afternoon. Is it too early to start drinking? Is it too early to let the endorphins flow? I'm not driving, no one's around me. How will my coworkers ever know? A 4-hour meeting on Zoom. Sales numbers are spelling doom. That's what the executives are droning about. And Stephanie can't do her job, as that's being mansplained by Bob. If I can't leave now, I'm going to fucking shout. Is it too early to start drinking? This meeting has lasted far too long. I'm not even paying attention, 'cause just out of frame I can see my bong. Is it too early to smoke weed? Altered sensory right now sure would be great. Just a slight relaxation assist to help affect my mental state. Now we're starting up a demonstration, further delaying me with my libation. They're stumbling through it and making me cringe. I think I finally had enough. Maybe my video's accidentally off. I think it's time to finally go and binge. Is it too early to start drinking? I think it's time for the faux euphoric feels. It's time for every narcotic I have and completely come off of the wheels. Is it too early to start drinking? Beer, wine, and a glass of straight whiskey. I'm staying up all night with the good stuff as well as dropping some LSD. Is it too early for cocaine? Do I still have time to snort a line? I never went to bed last night, so this morning's meetings, I'm sure I'll be fine.
Jordan, completely speaking for, well, what I will call the COVID generation of whom we are a part. I lift my glass and raise my hands to you.
That was fantastic, my friend. You've helped all of us take substance abuse to a whole nother level.
Thank you so much.
Well,
Jordan.
you were going to say?
Well, I was going to say that you're pulling double duty here because it's time for the weather.
No, it's not. It's time for the Convince Me I'm Wrong panel discussion
Oh,
with me.
excuse me. I
You're just
skipped a
afraid to try
section.
and convince me that I'm wrong.
Oh,
And boy, do we have a special week this week for everybody. This week, we're going academic, and numbers are the game. Now, for our first topic this evening, everyone, it's long been contended by mathematicians that 0 is not a number. However, I firmly hold the belief that 0 is not a number. Convince me I'm wrong.
without mathematical facts stating the exact definition of the role of 0.
Oh, so you're contending that mathematical facts prove that 0 is not a number? Is that your argument? Mathematical facts? That's your concise argument? Just mathematical facts?
My challenge is you seem to have completely rebuffed all of the reasons mathematically that 0 is not a number.
This is new math, baby. I have a very compelling argument that makes me completely resolute that 0 is not a number. I'm not going to give it. I'm waiting for all arguments. I think your argument doesn't even warrant rebuttal at this point because your entire argument was literally mathematical facts. A two-word argument, mathematical facts.
0 is not a number because it must have a value. As a completely valueless concept, it therefore isn't a number.
Okay, that's your argument. All right.
Yeah, math is my argument.
Well, we're going to try something different this week where I'm going to hear all three arguments and then rebut so as not to have to rebut each argument.
Well, to summarize, Margarita's argument is math.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to write that down. Margarita's argument is
because
math.
all of the math says so.
Okay, because of math, not even maths, not even the British.
I'm not British.
All right, who's up next?
Okay.
Convince me I'm wrong. 0 is not a number.
Well, not implies a double negative. So if you have two negatives, that makes something a positive, in which case that would mean that 0 is actually a number. It is, yes, it is confirmed. It is a truth. Positives are a truth. Now, you could also make the argument that I could not have anything in my hand right now, but I also don't not have anything in my hand right now. So could I not have anything, or could I don't have something in my hand? I don't not think that I don't have anything in my hand, but therefore, do I actually have something not in my hand?
Well played. I like your wordsmithing. I will give you that yours is by far the greatest argument I have heard. I'm trying to type in at the same time on my phone something. But no, I will say that your wordsmithing has completely hit the point at the argument I was making, in that yes, not is not. Okay, I love your wordsmithing there, Jordan. Your use of words and illogical logic. So your argument, Jordan, is illogical logic. All right, I love it. Mark, what would your argument be to convince me I'm wrong that 0 is not a number?
Caleb, why would we turn to us, the amateurs, when we can turn to the experts? I'd like to read from 0, the biography of a dangerous idea by Charles Cifi, which I just so happen to have in a random collection of books that my grandmother gave me. Now, it starts by asking a Rig Veda quote. There was neither non-existence
nor existence then. There was neither the realm of space nor the sky which is beyond. What stirred? Where? These ancient Indian words of wisdom demonstrate that the question, why is there something rather than nothing, is already the negation that you need. The fact that something already exists infers that nothing does not exist. Now, I can continue by going all the way to the end of the book and randomly picking out something at the end that says, a lot of people in my life are partly responsible for helping me write this book in one way or another. My high school teachers instilled a love of science and of writing. My college professor showed me the beauty of mathematics. Special thanks go to my agent, Carrie Nugent Wells. I rest my case.
And what a case.
Can I just say that I'm very proud of all of you, because this has been perhaps the most compelling convince me I'm wrong argument to date. Mark, what was the author's name of your book Zero there?
That would be Charles Seife.
Charles Seife. Okay.
Seife.
Well, I think I'm ready for my counter rebuttal on why I still believe zero is not a number. Margarita's argument was math. Jordan's was very craftily skilled and constructed wordplay using illogical logic. And Mark, you brought out the experts. Well, I think I need to bring out something that isn't math, but it's the heart, it's desire. I think I also need to bring out some amazing wordsmithing, and perhaps the greatest expert of them all, Tommy Two-Tone. That's right, I'm invoking the Ginny defense.
Oh.
You see, Ginny has a number, and that number is, hold on, Siri, shut up. Okay. Ginny has a number, and that number is 867-530-9. Well, Tommy Two-Tone had Ginny's number, and if O isn't a number, how could he dial Ginny and make her mine? That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Zero is in fact a number, but zero is also not a number. Because you're all right, zero is not a number, but zero can also be a number. Siri is on it today. Zero is also a number. So I contend that just like the last letter in the name Ginny, zero is the Y of numbers and can therefore serve as a number, but also not a number, therefore making zero not a number. Aha!
That'll hold up in any law.
I can tell by your stunned faces that you have once again realized how ridiculous my arguments are, and you have failed to convince me that I'm wrong. Maybe this next topic will help convince me that I'm wrong. Again, scientific in nature, I contend that while the metric system is very useful in scientific measurements and math, it is fully inappropriate in casual conversation.
Caleb, I have no argument.
Oh, fantastic. Would you like me to repeat my belief?
I'm going to need you to restate your belief.
Yeah,
Okay.
restate that belief, please.
While the metric system is useful for scientific measurement, it is inappropriate for casual conversation. Would you like an example?
I very much would.
I'll take an example.
Okay. If I'm having a casual conversation with you and you say, could you hand me that? God damn it, Siri is on fire today. Every word I say, she pops up. If we're sitting somewhere and you say, hey, could you hand me that? Fuck you, Siri. And I say,
Just stop saying Siri.
she literally won't stop talking every time I say a word. Shit.
Caleb,
Are you touching your ear?
is she
Okay.
not stopping or is she not starting?
She's being inappropriate.
Convince
Therefore,
me
she's
otherwise,
probably
Caleb.
using metric systems. Okay. My example is if you are having a conversation with someone and they say, would you hand me that? fuck? What am I saying that's bringing up Siri every time I say this? It's
Probably
become a joke at this
illogical
point.
bullshititudes.
Okay. Would you rather hear that thing 3 feet away or that thing 10 decimeters away? You can't wrap your head around decimeters. The centigrade system, 30 degrees is hot. How is that appropriate to understand? Also, if I go from 30 degrees to 35 degrees, I've gone from hot to fucking scalding. That's only 5 degrees. That's like a light breeze. So I contend the metric system is inappropriate for casual conversation.
Caleb, I'd like to jump in on this one right away. I believe that what you're trying to do is establish yourself as some kind of authority that you cannot possibly dream of being. Caleb, you're making an argument about what is and isn't appropriate. And as a man who has deep convictions about what is and isn't appropriate in things like clothing, fashion, traffic, and logical arguments, Caleb, you are trying to say that you are the arbiter of appropriateness and therefore the judge of inappropriateness. I do not argue that your statement is not logically sound. That if all premises are true, then logically what follows that the conclusion must be true. What I'm saying that your premise from the very beginning of arguing that you can be the arbiter of appropriateness is ill-suited, and your computer assistants are already calling your bullshit on it, trying to inform you that, Caleb, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Well played. Well played. Okay. Jordan, your response?
I'm going to take the rare point of agreeing with you. I do find that that the metric system is highly inappropriate. I mean, I just, it's never something that I would use in a conversation. For example, I would never go on to a woman and say, my penis is 15.24 centimeters long. That's just highly inappropriate for me to do something like that. And I can't imagine anybody would ever use that kind of a conversation. That's just, I'm just disgusted with that kind of language in any way, shape, or form. So
I agree with you, Jordan. It would be even worse if you went up to a lady and said, my penis is 1.5 decimeters long.
That would be even worse.
That would feel tiny.
I agree that is a completely inappropriate conversation to have with somebody.
Yeah. I personally like to hear the size of a man's member in inches only.
There we go. Well, now Mark, you have to convince 3 of us that we're wrong, because we've just established from a 3-to-1 vote that the metric system is inappropriate for casual conversation.
Well, if we're talking casual conversation, I think that you've already given me all the ammunition that I need, because if I go walking into a room and I say, my penis is 4 inches long, I've made an inappropriate statement, albeit frustratingly factual. However, if I walk in and I say, my penis is 10.45 centimeters long with a little wink in my eye, hey, I'm just making a joke. I might not be telling the sad truth about the situation. I think that you're making my case for me that some things are inappropriate in some situations, like penises. And those things can be inappropriate in other situations, like talking about penises. So what I'm saying is that the metric system can be used in many different ways. Some of them inappropriate, yes, but sometimes speaking about the metric system length of any part of your body is the only appropriate way to do it.
All right. Well, once again, I admire your argument. You have failed to convince me that I'm wrong.
Shocker.
All right. And speaking of shockers, Jordan, I hear it's shocking outside right now.
It is shocking the things that are happening with the weather outside. There are so many things going on. The weather's just all over the place. And we're going to tell you all about it right after this word from our sponsor.
Or how about the reviews of movies that you have no intention of seeing?
Is that what we're on now? Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Okay, let's do some of those. I'm gonna review some movie reviews of movies I have no intention of seeing. Okay, so the movie reviews that I am going to be reviewing today are from Gemini Man, the 2019 sci-fi blockbuster starring Will Smith, and the only person capable of playing opposite Will Smith, a CGI Will Smith. Now, okay, so this movie has an 83% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, and yet I couldn't find very many positive comments on it, but let's go ahead and take a look at what I did find. So, the first comes from somebody without a name who gave it 3.5 stars. And it says, director Ang Lee manages to create a sci-fi action movie that is entertaining enough, but not much more than that. Now, I find this review very useful, as entertaining enough is quite in line with a 3.5 star rating. It's kind of like if your glass isn't quite full and you're like, yeah, that's good. That's it. I'm good. That's all I needed anyways. Let's move on to another anonymous reviewer who gives this a 5-star rating, saying, man, oh man, I'm surprised the public didn't take to this movie like bees to honey. This movie was one of Will's best, and Mary kills it in her supporting role. The de-aging tech was fantastic. The fight choreography was the absolute best part. The plot was a little cliche, but it wasn't terrible. Since it's been in development since the 90s, I'm not shocked. People gave this movie a bum rap. It wasn't a masterpiece by any means, but it didn't deserve to be a bomb. All right, a couple of problems here. First, has this really been in development since the 90s? No worries. Second, there's a lot of mediocre comments here for a 5-star review. Cliche, but not terrible. Not a masterpiece, but didn't deserve to be a bomb. What do you suppose this person thinks of their children? He's a good kid, not a girl, but still good. And also, I've never really liked the bees to honey analogy. For bees, making honey is a very labor-intensive process, so that makes me think that watching this movie is going to be a lot of work. So I'm going to pass. All right, next up we have Lars T. 1 star, saying, this film not ta good, shit CGI, AMF. All right, I'm going to admit, I like this review because I can't help but read that first sentence in a stereotypical Italian accent that borders line on offensive. This film is not too good. Now you can't unhear that ever. I'm sorry. Also, if you're not familiar with the slang acronym AMF at the end of that, AMF is a popular bowling alley chain all across the country, so I'm sure what Lars is saying here is, adios, motherfuckers, I'm going bowling. Next, we've got Albert J, who gives this 2.5 stars. The premise of the film was good. The writing was terrible. A group of 10-year-olds could have come up with a better dialogue and better ending. Well, Albert, I remember some of the things that I wrote as a 10-year-old. Things like, they could hear the screaming coming from the restroom all the way down the street. Harder, harder, she cried. You'll never get that mildew stain out scrubbing like that. Moving on to Byron Z. Byron Z gives us a 3-star rating. He says, it was an okay movie, past the time and worth the rental. What would you expect from Will Smith? That, Byron, is exactly what I would expect from Will Smith. 3 stars, average, okay, meh. There is no better reflection of what I think this movie would be like if I were to actually see it than this review. It's not so bad that it makes me want a refund on the popcorn I didn't buy, and it's not so good that it gives me just a little bit of an erection every time it's mentioned. It just exists. It's okay. Well done, Byron. And finally, we have Vlad M, 3 stars, who says, in West Philadelphia, born and raised, getting cloned is how he spends most of his days. That's it for Gemini Man, everybody. I just reviewed some movie reviews of because I have no intention. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Jordan. And once again, thank you, Xfinity, for such a stable internet connection at a man who works for Dish Network house. All right, Mark.
Yeah.
How's that weather? Hello.
Yeah. Hey. Yeah. The traffic. The traffic is good. Sorry. You know, there's one window that I have yet to look out of, and it's that top window. And so I'm just wondering, what do you guys think I might see if I go looking inside of that window? Oh man, it's still no cars, everybody. It looks like there's no cars today, no traffic on the street. So ladies and gentlemen, don't you worry about it. If you want a traffic report, you can always count on the report to let you know that there's nothing going the fuck on out there.
Fantastic. Oh.
Well, let's see you in your underwear a little bit more after these messages.
Whenever he ties a tie, it's the perfect length. The first time. He can iron a shirt just by touching it. Whatever color he's wearing is the new black. He's the best dressed man in the world.
I don't always wear underwear, but when I do, I prefer briefs. Stay tidy, my friends.
You know, often I'm looking for a quick and easy way to put food in my body, even though I can't cook.
Well,
and that's what that brings us to our new segment. I thought my co-anchor was going to kick off there, but she was so enthralled by what I was saying.
You're so definitive.
Yeah, well, hey, ladies and gentlemen, it's once again time for Lockdown Luncheons with Mark.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me. It is my pleasure to bring you simple and fast ways to put food into your body. I don't like to cook at all, but I do like eating food. And I've discovered some pretty unique ways of feeding myself during these lockdowns. Today, I'd like to share with you a recipe that I call Winnie the Pooh style mac and cheese. Now, you might have your own box of Velveeta shells and cheese, or just a generic box of Kroger style shells and cheese. I'm not going to judge, but I'm a classy man myself. Now, what you're going to want to do for this recipe is you're going to want to remove that delicious cheese sauce. And then you're going to want to make sure that you just slice that right open. Now, most people will boil this pasta and create a mess in their stove. What I like to do is just Winnie the Pooh myself right in. And once your hands are fully covered, you can just dip them right into the shells. And then, ladies and gentlemen, bon appetit.
Wow. I gotta say, that's my favorite dish to date.
What a satisfying crunch. Let's just listen to that for a minute.
Wow.
Scrumptious.
What about side dishes? Is there any way to accentuate your Winnie the Pooh mac and cheese?
Caleb, I'm just a big fan of whiskey. When it comes to Winnie the Pooh, all you really need is just something to drink.
Guzzle it down. I must say, I do miss the prescription chaser, but I understand.
Well,
When you can't get a
Margarita, I've
refill,
run
you
out.
can't get a refill. I know.
Stop
I
it!
know. Well, Mark, thank you once again for another wonderful recipe that I'm sure everyone on quarantine is just going to snap up as soon as they can go into the store. Remember, though, those aisles are one way, Karen.
Speaking of Karen, Jordan, we got a lot of weather out there this coming up week. What should we look out for?
Well, it's funny you should mention that, Caleb, because we are tracking several storm systems that are moving in through a lot of regions that could really do a lot of damage. And what you're going to want to know is some key information to keep you and your family safe this weekend. We'll have that full report on next week's show.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Well, that's going to do it for the weekly report, 20 minutes of news in 1 hour. But before we go, final thoughts, everybody. What do you got to say, Marge?
I gotta say that being a badass is the most important thing you can be.
Mark?
Don't let people tell you who you're supposed to be. Be yourself.
Fantastic. Jordan?
Never too early to start drinking when you're working from home.
Fantastic. And ladies and gentlemen, from me here at the news desk, I think I've proven that just like medical advice, math is a matter of opinion. This has been the Weekly Report, 20 minutes of news in 1 hour. We'll see you next week right here on Grafenberg TV.
Yeah, and that was the Weekly Report. Holy moly, I feel like I learned so many things. I learned that it's never too early to stop drinking. I learned a lot about Nazis. I learned about Winnie the Poohin. So much good shit. Fuck, that was so funny. Okay, that's it for this this edition of the Grafenberg TV stream. We're gonna be back later tonight. There's more shows. We've got a set from Local Team Nude. There's going to be like a paranormal mystery thing at 10:30 or something like that. I don't know. Come tune in for Who the Hell Knows What. I'm CJ Willard. Thank you guys.